Okay, let me wish you a very, very good evening, a very warm welcome to our Facebook Live Sheffield Sharks announcement. Oh, I've been looking forward to this. It's Mike Shaft with you. Time now just about 25 minutes to 8 on this Wednesday evening. Just in case you don't know who I am, we'll take a couple of hours to tell you. I've been a broadcaster in the Manchester area and elsewhere for many, many years. And well, I got into basketball at a very early age. I think I must have been about 17 or 18 when a mate of mine, Robert, asked me if I wanted to come along to a game. I didn't even know they played basketball over here. I went along. It was at Stretford Sports Centre, and it was Manchester Giants versus I don't know who, but it was absolutely amazing. And that was my first taste of basketball in this country, and I absolutely loved it. Got into commentary in the craziest way. My mate Robert was the commentator. And in those days, they didn't allow commentary. It was just announcements. And one time, this game was so exciting, I said to Robert, "Come on, Robert, whoop it up a bit." He says, "I can't, I'm not allowed." I said, "Give me the microphone." So I actually took the microphone in, did what I do, and all hell broke loose. The opponents hated it. The referees hated it. The commissioner, do you remember the days when we had commissioners? The commissioner hated it. The one person who loved it was the owner of the club, Mr. Amir Madani. I'll never forget his name. And the next week, we got there for the next game, and there were two microphones, one for Robert and one for me, and that was it. Did Manchester for many years, then broke out, did other stuff, other teams, worked, I think, for most of the teams in this country at some of the time. And I can remember some crazy nights driving to Edinburgh when I did their games. Oh my goodness, that was a long trip. Anyway, I got a job on Sky, okay, and that was great fun. And it's amazing to see the number of people now who are getting excited by those games being shown on Facebook. And to be honest, I have to say the quality of some of them is just terrible from VHS, but I think you can see the quality of what we had then and the excitement that we generated. It was absolutely fantastic. In 1998, I think it was, my relationship with Sky came to an end. They ended it, but I was not unhappy at all. And within minutes of the announcement being made, I get a call from Yuri Matushin. And he says, "You've got to come and commentate for the Sharks." I said, "I'd love to." And that was the beginning. And that is 20 something years ago. And I've not missed a season to the best of my knowledge. And the weather, irrespective of the weather, and I can tell you sometimes it's horrible going over there over the top, as I say. I have loved every minute of being there with the Sharks. Of course, last season ended in a horrible way, but hopefully soon we can announce a date and we can get the new season started whenever that date is. I've been invited to introduce to you the new players as they are announced, and I'm delighted to do that. The first player I want to announce for the new season for the Sharks is an absolute legend, and I'm sure you know who it's going to be. It's me. No, honestly, they've asked me to sign. No, I'm joking. The guy who's the first to be mentioned for the coming season of BBL basketball is the legend that is Mike Tuck. Mr. Tuck, how are you, sir?
Surprise. I'm sure everyone was expecting a new face in here. I think everyone probably thought I had already signed a contract, but yeah, no, I am the first to be revealed. So here I am.
Now, this is so we've done the announcement, so we can go home now, can't we?
We're good. Good night, everybody. Nice to see you. Have a good one.
Why wasn't I on the screen when I was talking before, by the way? What's that all about?
You were on
No,
Facebook.
I wasn't. I
You were
wasn't.
on you were on Facebook.
I'm on now.
You're on there. We're both on there now.
So, listen, this is a question I always wanted to ask you. There you are in Canada, okay? How do you get in touch? Who makes the contact with the Sharks?
Well, actually, I was playing in France
Right.
for a team in France in the Champagne region, and my team wasn't doing so well, and the manager of the team was stressed, and they started making changes within the club. So I ended up leaving that team.
You got cut.
Not cut, leaving on good terms, and we. My agent at the time and I decided that instead of flying back to Canada, I would fly to England. I would stay with a friend who was living in London at the time and just wait for another job to pop up. It was still pretty early in the season. It was about November, December time. And then I had been contacted by Atiba through the summer, but I had already signed my contract in France. So as soon as I got to England, I went back through my emails and I checked out Atiba's email and it said Sheffield Sharks. So I was like, oh, let me do a little research. And I went online and I searched. And at the time they were in first place in the league and just absolutely smashing it. I think they'd only lost like 2 or 3 games and they were smashing it. So I said, I'm in England and they're the first place team. I'm going to reach out to them. So I sent Atiba a message and he got back to me, invited me to a training session, and the rest is kind of history. I came up on the train from London. I went to the training session. I had a great session. Had a meeting with Atiba and Sarah the next day, and they offered me a contract, and I've been here ever since. You can't get rid of me, Sheffield.
History.
Yeah, that's it. Well, initially I thought I was only going to be here for 1 season, but it just, the situation was great and they kept offering me to come back and everybody welcomed me with open arms. So it was just a great position for me to be in. And it's turned into my life. The Sharks has been such a big part of my life and just such a big thing for me, and very proud to be here. I'm very proud to be coming back for my 12th season.
How long can we talk for, by the way? How much time have you got?
Well, Atiba was doing some coaches chat, and those went well over an hour. But I don't know if
I haven't got an hour.
I don't know how long we're going to retain the audience here, but we can talk for a little bit.
Okay, so you arrive in this country. What did you make of our game at that time?
I thought it was great. I'm not going to lie. I had played in a few countries in Europe already. The reputation of the BBL in Europe does not serve it justice. I was coming here and even my agent told me, he said, if you don't score 40 every night, you're trash and da da da. And when I got here, I was really surprised at the level of talent. I think that the import rules help that. You can have 3, at the time it was 3 Americans and then unlimited Bosman players. So a lot of teams were stacked with really solid quality American players or, international players. And then they'd have some really good European guys as well. So I thought the level was great. I thought it was on par with the level that I played at in France. And probably maybe a little bit better than when I played in Luxembourg. But it just doesn't have a good reputation outside of inside Europe. But I think that's slowly the tide's turning on that. I think the one thing about the BBL is we have great guards and it's a very fast league, but in terms of bigs, we don't have a lot of bigs, and that's where the European teams will have that. They'll always have the size and the strength, plus everything else.
And in your early days in the league, who were the impressive players as far as you were concerned, away from the Sharks?
Away from the Sharks, man, you got like Andrew Sullivan was here. Olu Babalola, we used to play against him back in the day. You put me on the spot here. I'm trying to remember my first year. It was tough. Dave Aliu. Man, there's just too many. The league was packed with talent that year. We ended up winning the cup my first year over the Cheshire Jets at the time with Hamilton was their guy, and he actually won MVP of that cup game, even though he was on the losing team, which we that didn't stick well with us. Mike Cook.
Behave.
Mike Cook was not happy about that.
With
I'll tell you that
people.
much.
It is the best player on the night. Nothing to do with who wins the cup.
Well, the best player usually wins the game as well, I would say. But yeah, I mean, the league's was packed with talent, and I think it's going from strength to strength. That every year we're seeing great guys come into the league.
And who did the Sharks have in your first year?
So my first year here was 09-10. So we had Perry Lawson at point guard, Ryan Patton. We had the killer Mike Cook. We had Tafari Tony. We had Adrian Anderson. We had Todd Cawthorn, the legend TC, Todd Cawthorn. And Atiba was still playing at the time as well. And then we had Ash Chanley, Ralph Benos. Who else on that team? I think that's everybody. Oh, Matt Gorman, Storm and Matt Gorman, who was
yeah.
I lived in the team house with Storm and Matt Gorman. Yeah, so we had a solid team that year. We were stacked. Unfortunately, we got knocked out in the playoffs, in the trophy and the playoffs. We were projected to win the playoffs that year, but we ended up. Ryan Patton got injured in the first round, and we ended up losing to the Glasgow Rocks in the second round. So that was a tough exit, but nonetheless, I had won a piece of silverware in my first year, and from then on, I was hooked. I wanted more silverware.
One of my best memories I called him Tafari Tony, by the way. I don't know. Anyway, you remember the night he brought the rim down at
oh man,
the EISS.
It wasn't even that big of a dunk, but I mean, it was a big dunk. But compared to what we were seeing him do in practice every day, he was probably one of the most, if not the most athletic guy I've ever played with. He was just, he could get up, and his dunks were powerful. Yeah, and I remember he literally almost ripped the ring off the backboard there. But what a great moment. What a great memory.
Oh, fantastic. We've had some great times with the Sharks. I have to say, I've loved every minute I've been there. So you are an all-round player, in my opinion. You do a little bit of everything. Tell me about your game to somebody who doesn't know.
My game is I'm a power forward. I'm a stretch four. And what that means is that I play a little bit of inside and outside. I can bang around in the posts. I like to get the ball in the post down low and do a post move or battle with a guy down there, back a guy down. But I can also pop up all the way to the 3-point line and catch and shoot. And I've got a bit of range to my game. Really like the pick and pop game. So setting a screen and popping for an open shot. And I've been the captain of the team, I think, since 2012. So I'm a leader on this team, and I've always been a guy kind of hard-nosed and kind of blue-collar worker type of guy, and I just try to put my head down and work and lead by example and bring the other guys along with me.
I have a saying, by the way, I don't know if you know this, but in the UK, in the army, okay, they have what's called a warrior class tank. And I think you are warrior class. And I've said that before. Mike Tuck doesn't back down, doesn't hide, gets the job done.
Well, I thank you. I appreciate that. That's if anything, to be called anything like that, you know, that's an honor. So I appreciate that.
Now, last season, well, in fact, it was this season, ended in a most horrendous way. I didn't even get to say goodbye to anybody. You know, players were on the plane and gone. So
Yeah.
how did you see the ending?
Well, it was pretty much the same for us. You know, the government was, or certain leagues have been shutting down that second week of March, and we didn't know whether we were going to play that week or what. And it became down to Friday the 13th, which was in Worcester, away in Worcester, and I still remember, you know, all the guys on the team text messaging me in the morning and just saying, "Are we still going down?" I think the Premier League had postponed their league the night before, so we didn't know, and then they ended up canceling the league on the Sunday, and we flew. You know, Buna flew back to Norway on Sunday. The rest of our American guys flew home on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of that week. And it was literally the same for us. You know, we went from practicing every day together and playing games and battling to literally guys flying home. We didn't get to see anybody, and everybody's locked in their houses. So that was quite an adjustment for everybody. And I think that first week I was just kind of aimlessly walking around the house, just like, what do I do? And I think we've lost Mike Shaft here, people. Let me see if I can get him back really quick. 1 second. Well, that's awkward, isn't it? Let's see if we can get Shafty back on the call here. Little technical difficulties, people. Sorry for this. Give me 1 minute and I'll see if I can get Mike Shaft back. Well, guys, I'm sorry we've lost Mike Shaft, and I don't know how to get him back. But I guess I'll just kind of go off the cuff here and thank everyone for this at the Sharks. You know, Yuri, Sarah, John Timms, Karen Child, Atiba, Lions, and all the coaching staff, and all the players this year for having me back. You know, I couldn't have done it without you guys, and I really appreciate it. And I thank you know, our sponsors, Canon, B Braun, and all the rest of our sponsors for supporting us this season. Everybody has been incredibly great in all their support, especially, you know, through these tough times. Thank all the fans that support us day in, day out, through thick and thin. Come to all the road games, come to all the away games. You know, it's you know, without you guys, we couldn't be here and we couldn't do what we do. I want to thank my girlfriend, Charlene. Big shout out to Charlene and the rest of my friends who are always behind me. It's a special moment for me to be signing for my 12th season. Not many players get to play 12 seasons of basketball, let alone 12 professional seasons, let alone 12 seasons with one club. This 12th season will be me tying the record for most seasons with the Sharks, tied with the legend that is Ian McKinney. Just extremely lucky to be in this situation that I am. A quick word about my testimonial game, which was supposed to be on the 6th of June. That has obviously been postponed until next season. And that will be on either end of May or early June in 2021. Please keep an eye out on the Sharks or my social media for the rearranged dates. And finally, I wanted to send out my condolences to Ian Davidson from the Leicester Riders, who unfortunately passed away today. Ian was, a huge part of the Leicester Riders and of British basketball. And he was a guy that always had a smile on his face. And whenever I came down, he always made sure that he made his way across the court to come shake my hand. And I remember at the last game that we played at Leicester, he actually came across and said, when are you going to retire? When are you going to hang it up? And I said, I'm going to play till my legs fall off. And I think that he was the type of guy, he played hard and he went hard until the end. So my condolences to all the Leicester Riders fans and to Ian Davidson's family. And I guess that's it. I'm sorry about the confusion here. I'm sorry we lost Mike Shaft, but we are going to be announcing a lot more players in the coming weeks. And hopefully Mike Shaft can sort out his Zoom program here. But keep an eye on the Sharks social media. And thank you for tuning in tonight, guys, and stay safe.